Hello guys, welcome to my ANSHAN review or ANSHAN or however you pronounce this new tier 5 destroyer which showed up today in the store. Unfortunately, unlike the community contributors, I have to purchase the ship because I don't get a rental, but still, you know, I'm into DD, so I don't care. The stats looked okay, so I thought it couldn't be a total waste of money. Only thing I was afraid of was the ship was supposed to have deep water torpedoes. And then I had a deeper look and I found that you have optional deep water torpedoes. So you can install them with greater range and get the deep water, or you stick with the standard torpedoes and they are not deep water torpedoes. So actually this is what I recommend you to run this ship with. Don't take the deep water torpedoes, take the standard torpedoes. As for this review, you will find 4 games I played this morning. Actually, those are the first 4 I played in a row, so you don't miss out anything. So I'm brand new to the destroyer. Bear with me if I didn't move every situation perfectly. I still learning the DD, but I think I managed pretty okay. So this DD can be run basically in 2 completely different outfits. You can run it as a torpedo and you can run it as a gunboat. Wait a minute, you will say, 6 kilometer torpedo range, you're kidding me, this should be a torpedo boat? Yes, it can. If you take the Asian torpedo commander, which I showed in the intro of this video, and you saw the setup, you can use the range extender and you actually get 7 kilometer torpedoes. And you get a triple concealment build here, because the Pan-Asian commander has a 3% concealment. You take Swirsky with 4% and you take Bay with 5%. So actually you get 11% concealment. So you end up, as you can see, with 5.1 or even 5.0 kilometer concealment if you want it. If you choose the maximum concealment perk, you will lose 10% of HP, which I didn't choose. That's why I'm going with 14,400 instead of like 12,000. But for 100 meter, it's not worth it to lose more than 1,000 HP. So I prefer to stay with the HP. Here you can see I'm running into let's call it ANSHAN. And obviously this guy has the deep water torpedoes because there are no torpedoes incoming while I use my torpedoes. So just watch what's happened in the course of the fight. The ANSHAN does have pretty decent guns, and the stats are pretty comparable to the standard tier 5 Pan-Asian destroyer, but the torpedo, the gun reload is about 30% faster. It's 3.8, 3.9 something instead of 5 point something from the stock version. So the premium destroyer is meant to be a gunboat, obviously, and to not overpower the crippled the torpedoes. But you know, I'm famous for tweaking it to the max, so that's why I'm going with 7 kilometer torpedoes, which is fine with 5 kilometer concealment. You can torp battleships and you don't have too much radar here, so you don't have to operate at a 9 kilometer, 8 kilometer outside radar range. You can close in and use the full concealment here and get ready to torp whatever you like to torp. So in this game I'm running the torp build. You can see that with 5.1 concealment, and the gun reload is, I think, like 3.6, 3.8, something like that. It's important to note, if you run the torpedo build, I suggest to run mod 1 with the turret traverse. The base turret traverse of the ship is 30 seconds, which is awful for a destroyer and almost unusable. So with that mod 1 turret traverse, you at least get it down to 26, which is comparable to an Eagle or something like some ships like those. So if you know where the enemy is expected, you can work with 26 seconds. If you spec the ship for a gunboat with the other captain, you can get the turret traverse down to about 18 seconds, and at the same time use the dispersion improvement mod in mod 1. So using the gunboat, don't take the turret traverse, 18 seconds is fast enough, take the precision mod. And then you have like 3.2 something seconds gun reload. And it's a good fire starter with about 7%. And it's 130 millimeter guns. And this is what makes this ship pretty special. You can see in all 4 of these games, I hit about 10 citadels into cruisers every single game. So this ship is, in my opinion, is a perfect cruiser ambush ship in tier 4, 5, 6. And you can almost shred every cruiser as soon as you get broadside. And with 5.1 kilometer and all the speed perks I'm using, once you ambush an enemy cruiser, you pretty much you pretty fast can close the distance below 4 kilometer, which is suggested to be within, so you get the guaranteed citadels. So you won't get too many citadels from 5 kilometers away, but 4 kilometer to 3 kilometer in this caliber and this tier, you get let's say almost every second, if not every bullet, a citadel. And if you're below 3 kilometer, you are 100% guaranteed a citadel in whatever ship you ever cruiser you're facing. So following this game, there's another torpedo game, and I think both of them show pretty well that 7 kilometer isn't too bad if you spec it for 7 kilometer range. And I admit, if you're new to torpedoes and to the game itself, and you're used to run an Akatsuki or whatever from 10 kilometer range and do the safe thing, this ship isn't for you. This ship is for you if you like to play the French DDs, who anyways are short of range, and this is the typical French DD distance, like a Kilometer, like a Jaguar or a Gepard. They're all around 7 kilometers. So if you manage to run these boats successfully, then this ship plays a little bit similar to those. Because you have strong guns, you lack the reload booster, but you have a fast gun reload. You have 7 kilometer hard or quite hard hitting torpedoes for that tier. You can see here, I can sneak to the enemy, I can stay in range. It's very convenient. 6 kilometer isn't a bad range to torp. The only thing is you can't torp runaway battleships, but as said in my recent tutorial about positioning and strategic destroyer gameplay, I won't suggest to torp and chase a fleeing battleship. Just select another target. Don't chase a battleship or any fleeing ship, because torpedoes run only with, they close the distance only with half speed, while if you approach the enemy speed, the enemy ship, torpedoes approach them with like 90 knots, like or 80 knots, like a 40 knots destroyer, and a 30 knot or let's say 50 knot torpedo, 60 knot torpedo, and a 30 knot incoming battleship. That's 90 knots closing the distance. But if you chase them and they run away with 30 knots, being chased by 60 knot torpedoes, the net speed is just 30, so it takes ages for them, and they have ages to react, so you probably won't hit anyways. So never torp and chase a ship which is running away. Just select a different target. Here you can see my first shots out on the Miyoko, and you can see the distance is not close enough. I need to be closer than 4 kilometers to get the citadels. So this was my first test when and how I can citadel. But experience shows between 4 and 5, let's say 4.5 kilometers away, you don't get a citadel. Between 4.5 and 4 you get some, and below 4 you have a good chance to really hit a lot of citadels. So far for this game, and let's move to the next game, and I will comment specific situations as soon as they show up. So enjoy the game so far.
Maschinenboost aktiviert. Kamerad, ich brauche Ihre Unterstützung. Ich brauche Aufklärung.
So in this game we are the only DD and we are located already, so that means the enemy DD and our DD, they are pretty close, but still the task is to spot as many ships as possible, be ready to engage the Mahan, which is here, and if we run into the Mahan it will be a tough fight because obviously the guns are much faster reloading and turning, and it has a turret more than us. But you will see at the end of the game, still we managed to beat the Mahan, so only with guns, not with torpedoes. So it's a question of how skilled you are and how you play the destroyer. On top of all the annoyance, there is a carrier in this game, and so you will see me dealing with the carrier. So what I do when I start a carrier game is I always switch off the anti-air to get the maximum concealment down to 2.5, 2.7 in average per destroyer. So I'm I'm putting down the smoke here to get rid of the planes. I'm shooting a bit at the Fuso, and obviously it runs an anti-fire build because during the next few minutes I'm shooting at the Fuso quite a lot of times, and despite 7% fire chance, it's very hard to get a fire on it. But still, we keep on shooting, keep it busy. So in this moment I'm a bit undecided if I should support D or go to A, or if I go cap D and see how the game develops, and this basically is what I'm going to do now, heading into direction of D. But I don't want to enter D too soon because I don't want to show the carrier where am I. Usually if you have an attentive carrier player, he immediately will show up if you start capping and being the only DD. Obviously they're gonna hunt you down. But a bit lucky for me, this carrier player here isn't the most experienced. But still you get some idea of how to avoid planes because he's trying to chase me with the support of the Fuso and some other ships. Yeah.
Feuer auf gegnerisches Kriegsschiff konzentrieren.
So now I've decided to go for the carrier and go for the cap because in a short time I'm gonna have my smoke ready and I see the planes somewhere else on the map, so there's no immediate threat. The Fuso pointing the guns at the other side, so it's worth to take some shots and try to get a fire while the torp's out. So I was hoping to trigger the damage control and get a flood, but the Fuso turns out, so the torps obviously miss only, they miss but one, and I don't get the flooding, so bad luck here, but doesn't matter. We continue to cap, and then we continue to chase the destroyer, the carrier, and see that we bring him down, because obviously that's the biggest threat for the destroyer to be spotted. And once I'm free to move, because there's no spotting danger, the destroyer can become a real threat to the enemy team and help carry the team. But until then, we need to be a bit careful. So yeah, that's why the chase is on right now. now you can see how I switch between the Fuso and I prepare to attack the carrier. And obviously I'm getting pretty close, so I'm in torp range of the carrier. That means I'm below 5-6 kilometers, and as soon as I get within 3 and 4 I switch to AP and try to get some citadels. And for me it was very interesting to understand how well this destroyer citadels. You can see I did 5 citadels, and remember the angle I shot at the carrier. So now I'm smoking up because obviously the Fuso is being spotted. The planes are around the Fuso trying to chase me, but it just needs very little, one fire to bring the Fuso down. So I use my 90-second smoke and want to ignite the Fuso. And once it's gone, we are free to analyze the map situation. And you can see on the mini-map to the right-hand side of D there is a cruiser incoming. And since we know how well this ship's Citadel's cruiser, this ship is a cruiser hunter. So I'm turning around and going for the cruiser. So first I take a sneak peek if the planes are gone. I switch on my AA to get rid of the spotter plane or planes which are on the horizon, and then I turn around to get the decap or to keep the decap and to chase that cruiser.
Feuer auf festgelegtes Ziel konzentrieren. Alle Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels. Alle Stationen, brauche Feuerunterstützung.
So what I usually do is before I opening fire, I get my torpedoes into the water, and usually I get one set to where I expect the cruiser to go and one where I expect him to turn if he turns into me, and then I open the fire. So there are two variants for ships. The ones turning into you and not having a chance to shoot at you, but that would mean for that situation he would turn broadside to our team to the left. And if he wants to use all his guns, obviously he will follow me and turn to the left, which will A, open up his broadside to my torpedoes, and B, open up his broadside to me citadeling him. And you see how many citadels I got on this ship on top. So again, I have to repeat myself, 130mm fast reload, they are a cruiser killer. Now we're gonna pop into the Mahan, and you see we outspot him, so we can arrange our guns already before he gets into position. And I'm holding back my torpedoes for a moment to see where he moves, but I start shooting as well. And you can see my HP is pretty low, but he's very much concerned about my torpedoes. So I'm slowing down, I'm reversing to give it more time and make it harder for him to drop his torpedoes. And I'm not sure if he does have any or if he dropped them before, but and then again we target the back of his ship because the front is already black and it doesn't have any HP left. So if we would shoot that, we would barely damage him. So that's why we're shooting where the color was intact, so the back of the Mayhem. and that took him down pretty quickly. Okay, now for the second fit for the ship, being a gunboat. So I'm using the other captain, Shengbin, and I spec him fully guns. So that means I go for maximum HP, which is like 17k. I go for fast gun reload. Maneuverability with 38 knots, it's much slower than 41 in the torpedo fit, and concealment is 5.6 versus 5.1 in the other build. So the ship is a bit more sluggish and less concealed, but obviously it has 3,000 more HP and a faster gun reload. And I wanted to test if this has an impact. And I can tell you, I find both setups equally okay. I think if you have to run against many DDs, the gunboat setup makes more sense. If you go against few DDs, the torpedo setup makes more sense. But I equally like both of them, and it's just a matter of taste you are in, and you play them slightly different. Obviously with the guns you make more use of the smoke, so you make sure that you use the smoke in the right situation. But other than that, torp reload is a bit slower, and range is only 6 instead of 7 kilometers. But again, the guns are a good fire starter, and especially if you hit broadsiding cruisers, the fast reload will yield a lot of citadels. So this game again or the next two games will show some cruisers I run into, and I can't repeat it often enough. Citadels, citadels, citadels.
Gegnerische Streitkräfte am Horizont gesichtet. Nebelwerfer gestartet. Kritische Maschinen. Problem gelöst. Fordere Hilfe an. Ich brauche Aufklärung. Maschinenboost deaktiviert. Achtung, melde Zielposition. Alle Stationen, brauche Feuerunterstützung. Alle Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels. Gegnerische Schlachtschiff zerstört. Ziel konzentrieren. Alle Stationen. Das Ziel konzentrieren. Feuer auf gegnerische
So now that we are on our own here and the team is leaving this site, we realize we are alone. But still we decide to take down the Aoba, and I think not many destroyer players will go for it because most are very much scared of any cruisers. But again, this ship with 15k HP, good torpedoes, good guns, and now you see we are within 3 kilometers of range, so we are in citadeling range. So we bring around the ship nicely of the Aoba. It turns around because it wants to utilize all these guns, but at the same time we can use the torps, we can use our guns, and sorry Aoba, but you don't stand a chance against our fast reloading citadeling guns. So far for the cruiser, and you see we lost barely 10k, not even that, like 8k HP or something like that. So yeah. Nice game, nice citadeling. Off to the next game. So this game I show only the first 2-3 minutes because I'm fighting the destroyer and I'm fighting a cruiser, and after that my team killed the rest. I shoot an Emil at the end, but it doesn't make much difference, so I cut this a little bit just for the start to show how you can contest a cap, how you can fight a battleship, a cruiser and a destroyer. And yeah, it shows again what this ship is capable of. And again, citadels, fires, everything what you like to see. So as a conclusion for this destroyer, is this purchase or not? If you're new to destroyers, I recommend you buy some other premium destroyers. For example, the T61 is a good one, or the Monahan is a more beginner-friendly with long-range torpedoes and still good guns. This ship is, if you're an intermediate to a more pro-like player, but then it really can rock the stage. Because you need to be able to torp within 7 or 6 kilometers and to utilize the torps. If you just kite away like a cruiser and just use the guns, again, there are better gunboats. Then take the American ones, take a Mohan and kite away and blast off the guns. This ship needs to operate in close range within the let's say the concealment barrier of 6 kilometers. And you need to have a good map awareness so you don't run into islands, you don't make mistakes. So this ship is a good purchase if you know what you do. I recommend the ship to buy. If you're new to destroyers, postpone that until you know what you do and how to do it, and until you have some, let's say, more beginner-friendly premium destroyers. So far so good. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up, leave your comments, share your opinion if you like the destroyer or if you think it's bullshit, and stay away from it. If I missed anything, how I could spec the ship or run the ship, let me know as well. And yeah, looking forward to see you, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Zerstörer gesunken.
Unser Team hat die Führung übernommen.
Alle Stationen. Melde Position eines strategischen Ziels.